It was quite a scene Friday morning when federal agents raided the New Orleans Sewage and Water Board offices.
Now, the FBI seized documents relating to the plumbing department just hours after our David Hammer investigation reported a web of self-dealing in that office. Now, in part 3 of his series, David looks at how one City Hall inspector also played a key role.
Jay Arnold oversees all plumbing permits and inspections in the city of New Orleans for the Sewage and Water Board. He's also a master gas fitter who has hundreds of permits for private jobs installing gas lines, water heaters, and other residential gas service projects. We hope to catch up with Arnold at the inspection of one of his gas jobs last month, but Arnold didn't show up.
Jay Arnold has the permit on this job.
Yes.
Why isn't he here today for your inspection?
Well, actually, I'm a little early. I'm waiting for him.
That's
Okay.
City Mechanical Inspector
how is
Buddy
he
Fresh. He has approved half of Arnold's jobs in the last 3 years.
Well, I mean, he's working for the Sewage and Water Board during the day, but he's coming out here and meeting you for jobs.
He doesn't typically meet. Usually he has one of his plumbers meeting me here. In fact, the plumber's here now.
But this work shouldn't be done by plumbers. State law requires this work to be done by licensed gas fitters. Earlier in our investigation, we showed how Arnold and one of his plumbing inspectors get hundreds of permits to do gas jobs, but hire others to do the actual work.
As long as the work's done properly and safe, it doesn't make a difference who does it, in my opinion. I mean, it could be Mickey Mouse.
But is the work being done properly and safely if it's done by plumbers who don't have gas fitter licenses? And what about the danger of leaky gas lines? To make sure gas lines aren't leaking, licensed installers are supposed to conduct pressure tests above 3 pounds per square inch. But our review of city records found several inspection photos below 3 psi.
Because some of these you're under 3 psi on the photographs.
Oh, really? I'd have to see that. I'd have to see those.
The inspector is supposed to watch the pressure hold above 3 psi for at least 10 minutes. But we saw Fresh enter this property for the inspection at 10:02 a.m. and get back to his truck at 10:09. Not enough time to conduct a 10-minute gas line pressure test.
Just now you were there for less than 10 minutes. How do you do the gauge pressure test if you're there for less than 10 minutes?
Well, I was there for probably at least 10 minutes. You know, I mean, I don't look at my watch. But
That's not what I observed.
Oh, well, sorry.
And then there's this. Buddy Fresh is also a licensed plumber. These city emails show Fresh's plumbing company sent permits to Arnold and got them approved by Arnold's staff at the Sewage and Water Board. On some of those same jobs, records show Fresh then inspected and approved the gas line work for another member of Arnold's staff.
You're doing work on one side and approving his work on the other. Do you find that to be a conflict of interest?
No, I treat everybody equal.
In 2019, Fresh became the plumbing license holder for Hermanos Rivera Construction by swearing under oath that he had been working full-time for 120 straight days at Hermanos Rivera, while he was also a full-time inspector for the city and a registered inspector for a private inspection company called IECI.
But I do work 60 hours a week minimum, and you can ask anybody that I know that can vouch for that. So yeah, and I do not do anything. Any of my side work is never done in city's time.
Fresh's claim that he worked full-time at Hermanos Rivera Construction got his plumber's license suspended by the state licensing board for contractors. His argument that he does private side work on his own time doesn't matter to his boss, City Safety and Permits Director Tammy Jackson.
Mr. Fresh, as a city inspector, was not approved for outside employment. So upon learning that he did have outside employment, he has been suspended for 30 days.
It's also a violation of city policy for an inspector to work for a third-party inspection firm. Fresh says he's working hard protecting citizens, even though he knows his dual role as a plumber and city inspector looks bad.
Like I'm in cahoots, or I have the Sewage and Water Board has power over me because we inspect each other's jobs with the Sewage and Water, since I do have a master license, and that couldn't be further from the truth.
City officials notified the Sewage and Water Board in January that Arnold and one of his plumbing inspectors, Vernon Marcotte, appeared to be doing private work on public time. But the Sewerage and Water Board didn't do anything about it until last week, suspending the employees and changing its policy on side jobs only after we showed them photos and documents from Arnold and Marcotte's gas permits. Hours after our story aired last week, the FBI raided the Sewerage and Water Board's plumbing department, seizing paper-only records controlled by Arnold and his staff. David Hammer, Eyewitness News.